Just stop. Here's Ross, the host with today's dose of common sense.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. All right, I'm doing this first thing in the morning off the cuff because all kinds of things have been happening overnight, none of which are good, and I want to talk about it. So, for those of you in the United States this morning, you're probably waking up to the news that there was a vehicle attack in New Orleans, down on Bourbon Street. I'm going to go to the website and show you some stuff. So here, there's at least 10 people killed, 30 people injured at least. And some reports are saying that the person who drove the vehicle hopped out of it when the vehicle stopped, had an assault rifle, quote unquote, assault weapon type thing, and was wearing body armor. Don't know if any of that's true. I only saw that in one report. But started shooting at people in the crowd once he got out of the vehicle, and police returned fire. I saw that in one report. I don't know which one is the most accurate. Again, this is just coming in over the last couple of hours. So looking at the reports that have been updated the most recently, the Telegraph out of the UK, they updated theirs, I don't know, 14 or 15 minutes ago, and their report is the one that says that the driver got out of the vehicle and started firing a weapon, and police returned fire. Unconfirmed reports of an assault rifle and wearing body armor. Again, don't know if any of that is true yet. As you've heard probably a million times, definitely dozens of times from me, the first eyewitness reports are always bad. That doesn't mean they're inaccurate. It just means they're bad. And inaccurate doesn't mean bad either. It's kind of hard to explain, but they might remember things in large brushstrokes. They may not remember specific details. But then you may have some witnesses who remember a very specific detail, but didn't take in the large brushstrokes of what was going on. So eyewitness testimony, especially this early on, is very unreliable because you have no way of knowing what your brain is going to do in a frightening, scary, critical type situation like that. So your mind might shut out everything except the gunshots because your brain might prioritize someone shooting, and you may not pay any attention to what else is going on around you. Or you may be concentrating on the vehicle running through the crowd and not even realize that someone was also shooting at people. So they have to wait until they get a series of witness reports together, and that they can compile an actual timeline of what really happened and put it all together, and then, get their video and audio evidence and all of that stuff and put it all together. So it'll be at least a day before we actually know what really happened. But at this point, it looks like there was a vehicle attack in New Orleans, New Year's, and ran over a bunch of people. And I jumped on here because these are not unrelated incidents. You'll remember we talked about the Christmas village thing attack. And we talked about another attack, and it's all, vague in my memory, but there was also a knife attack in Berlin this morning, or I guess now it would have been yesterday because their New Year was earlier than ours. So there was a knife attack there. There was a vehicle attack just a few days ago. There was the Christmas village attack, and now there's this one. And these incidents are not unrelated. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to throw it out there. That's my opinion. These are not isolated incidents. These are not unrelated things where, oh, look, we had several lunatics just lose their mind on the same day and start attacking people. I don't believe that at all. And some of that is because I recently listened to an interview with a former CIA targeting officer. I should probably find that and post it or link to it somehow, but it's not going to happen before I finish doing this video and post it. But I'll probably find that, and I'll maybe do a video about that. I will warn you, it's on a podcast I don't like, but the things that this person was saying ring true to me and my own experience studying terrorism and history, things like that. But it's not looking good. I don't believe if somebody comes on the television today and says these are completely unrelated incidents, blah, 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 I don't believe them. The former targeting officer, who, like I said, I'll identify later in a different video when I put that together, but said that they have uncovered a plot by, believe it or not, Al-Qaeda, who we don't hear about very often, not because they're gone, not because they're no longer active, but because they have intentionally kind of gone underground, and they are sort of the group mastermind behind a whole bunch of incidents that are going on with a bunch of different terrorist groups that we used to believe were completely unrelated, but now they seem to be like working together in ways that we hadn't seen before. When I say we, I mean observers of what they used to call the phenomenon. But yeah, they planned future attacks, continuous attacks, coordinated attacks in Europe, in the United States. And it may be starting. There were supposed to be attacks on embassies that maybe they, just decided we're going to throw some smaller attacks with some of our quote unquote lone wolf guys to throw people off the trail or something. But this targeter says that one of the major plots is against embassies, and we haven't seen that happen yet. But the other incident was a massive attack against the United States, our homeland, directly here in the homeland, using similar tactics and numbers that were seen in Israel during the Hamas attack there on October 7th. So those are things that people are keeping their eyes on now. But in light of all of that and all of these incidents happening within weeks of each other, I don't think it's going to be one of those, this person was inspired by that act over there, or this person was inspired by that, or, I don't believe that. I believe that these are probably not necessarily coordinated, but orders went out to, hey, you need to act now. You need to figure out a thing that you're going to do and just do it. Because those are some of the types of orders that are sent out. They're not, we're going to spend years building this plan, we're going to do this or do that. I mean, they do those sorts of things for things like 9/11, for like the October 7th attack. But, or this upcoming, if it really happens, or if it's a real plot, the embassy attacks or the homeland attack, they can spend years planning and coordinating those and training people and getting them into position. But they also send out, just instructions like, hey, you are there already. Do something. Do something to make an impact on the holiday season. Do something on New Year's, because there's going to be large groups of people gathered around to celebrate. So do something then, take advantage of that opportunity and hit targets of opportunity. So that's probably, in my opinion, that's what we're seeing right now, that there was just a general instruction sent out. Attack, gatherings of people during these holidays and during these celebrations. They're an easy target. It'll be easy to pull off. Just go ahead and think on your own, leave the nest, go do your thing, and go make an attack on something that's going to, be impactful to the population. That's probably what we're seeing. And it's troubling, because those types of things you can't really stop them. You can't really mitigate them because you don't know what they are. It could be anything from a person walking into, you know, a bar, just like the Pulse nightclub, just walking into a bar and opening fire and shooting a bunch of people. Or it could be somebody ramming their car into a crowd on New Year's Eve celebrations, or anything really, an attack on a school. It's going to be soft targets, targets of opportunity. It's not going to be something that's going to require multiple people. It's not going to require a whole lot of planning or coordination. They're going to be very simple and effective attacks. So that's troubling to me, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing a bunch of disconnected things happening. I'm seeing a coordinated effort, and you may not be told that. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm not going to believe anything that they say if they tell me that these are unrelated incidents. I don't believe it. I've been paying attention for decades, and there's just too many things, too many similarities. I'm not buying it. So it's almost a guarantee that somebody from the government is going to come out and do a press conference and say these are not related incidents. These are not, there's no known terrorist connection and all that stuff. They're going to throw that stuff out there in the beginning, and I'm not going to believe any of it. So you can choose to if you like. And I'm not one of those people who's always like, I distrust everything the government says. I'm not a cartoon on some stupid show on TV. I'm very careful about what I choose to believe and what I choose not to believe. And sometimes the government comes out and tells you things that people in the field know are just not true. And I'm not talking about, UFOs, disclosure. I'm not talking about that kind of crap. I'm talking about this person had no known ties to terrorism. Well, they use very careful language when they say that. Well, this person has no known ties to terrorism. It may be because they don't actually know, so they're just going to say that to try and calm everybody down. Or the agency that's saying that may not know anything about it. That doesn't mean that another agency doesn't know that this person had ties to terrorism. So it doesn't mean that the person does. But they somehow classified that information, and they're not going to put it out publicly because it may serve some purpose for them to keep it quiet and use that information for something else. You never know. So I'm very selective in what I believe and what I don't believe, because some stories make sense and some don't. And so if you're going to tell me that all of these incidents that have happened over the last 2 weeks are unrelated and they have nothing to do with organized transnational or international terrorism, I don't believe you. I think you're lying. So you can take that any way you want. You can run with it. I don't care. You can ignore me and believe what people are going to start saying, but it's too much. One thing happening, sure, you can do that. This is a lone wolf person. He's crazy. He decided, I just lost my job, so I might as well go gun down a bunch of people. But no, I'm not seeing it. I see coordination. And it's very troubling. So keep your eye on that. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to keep my eye on this incident. There was also a knife attack in Berlin where a guy from Syria attacked people with a knife at a market. And of course, Germany had the Magdeburg vehicle attack recently. And so it's, I don't know. Like I said, it's troubling. And I am just going to leave it there for now, and we'll come back and revisit some of this stuff later, maybe later today when more information comes out, or maybe tomorrow or over the weekend or something. But we just don't know enough right now for me to sit here and have an hour-long conversation about an incident that just occurred. So I don't know enough yet to form an opinion, other than I don't believe these to be unrelated incidents. I believe these are planned, and it's a general instruction sort of message. Go out there, cause some chaos, and it may be just to provide cover for other things that are in the works to, get law enforcement and intelligence communities chasing down ghosts for a while, to give them some freedom of movement so that they can coordinate these other major attacks. that are supposedly in the works. So anyway, let me know your opinions. Come back later the next time, and we'll talk about it. And like I said, I'll get those interviews and link them so that everyone knows what I'm talking about, and do all this other stuff. But maybe I'll do that later today so that it coincides with this video, so that people can go listen to the interviews themselves and judge it for themselves. But until then, I'm going to let you go, and I will be back soon. And keep your head on a swivel, as they say. And, the old saying from the government now, that's old now, was if you see something, say something. Yeah, do that. And be safe.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Really? Just Stop with your host, Ross. Make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss a dose of some common sense.